At 4ZZZ, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging of the Turrbal and Jagera people. We acknowledge that their sovereignty over this land was never ceded.
And we stand in solidarity with them.
You're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane and beyond.
Hello and good morning. You are listening to Tranzmission. My name is Hazel and my pronouns are she, her, and joining me today in the studio is Ray.
Hello, I'm Ray. I use they, them pronouns.
And also a special shout out to Nat, who's helping on the desk.
I'm Kia. Hello.
And we've got two wonderful people in the studio with us today from Trans Joy Meanjin. Would you care to introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm April. I'm pronounced she, they.
I'm Connor, he, him.
Thank you, and I'm very excited to be talking to you both today about the idea of community, finding that community. Where do you look to find trans community? It should be a very, very fun and exciting episode, but before we get into any of that good stuff, we need to get into a bit of community news. So, starting off via Q News, we have New Zealand bans puberty blockers for young trans people. New Zealand has announced that it will be banning prescriptions of puberty blockers for young transgender people, introducing new regulations to align its approach with the United Kingdom. Health Minister Simeon Brown said, "We're ensuring they remain available for patients who need them for other conditions, such as early onset puberty, endometriosis and prostate cancer, where there is strong clinical evidence of benefit." The new approach will not impact patients currently receiving puberty blockers for the treatment of gender dysphoria, and the ban takes effect from the 19th of December. The announcement took place on the final day of Trans Awareness Week, on the eve of Trans Day of Remembrance. This decision has been condemned by PATHA, the Professional Association for Transgender Health in Aotearoa. In no other area of care would life-saving medication be withheld from a vulnerable population for 6 years, said the PATHA Executive Committee member Avery Zavoda.
Yeah, that's, I'm not thrilled. In other not excellent news, Queensland Health Minister again refuses to meet with trans advocates. Queensland Health Minister Tim Nicholls has refused to commit to a meeting with Transcend Australia and other trans advocates, even as they sat in the public gallery watching on, despite a petition of almost 16,000 people being tabled and a direct question from Labor MP Grace Grace during question time asking whether he would meet the advocates. The minister continued to avoid giving an answer. Transcend Australia CEO Suzanne Prosser said the minister's ongoing refusal to speak with families impacted is devastating. Almost 16,000 people signed the petition because they know healthcare decisions should be made by families and their children in consultation with qualified medical professionals. Politicians, Prosser said.
New South Wales man has been convicted of transgender hate speech. Also via Q News, a New South Wales man is the first in the state to be convicted of hate speech against transgender people after calling for violence on social media. 27-year-old Thomas Fordham was sentenced to a 12-month community correction order last week. He has become the first in the state to be convicted of hate speech against transgender people after he called for violence and created an invitation on social media for a genocide, quote. He pleaded guilty to threatening or inciting violence on grounds of gender identity and for failing to comply with the Digital Evidence Access Order direction over online comments made last year. If not for mental health issues, he would be going straight to jail. Fordham's barrister, Alan Goldsworthy, said his client was targeted with a, quote, flood of Old Testament religious material on YouTube. Quote, in his mind, he's doing the right thing by conveying the word of God. That one's a bit bittersweet. It's nice to see that there's action being taken against hate speech, but it's also unfortunate to see this kind of thing happening at all in the first place. But, you know, it's the good with the bad. That's the wrap-up for the news, and as always, it's left the feeling a little bit grim.
Amplifying the voices of the trans and gender non-conforming community of Meanjin, Brisbane and beyond.
Transmission on 4ZZZ brings you the latest in trans community news, music and events.
Every Tuesday from 9am till 10am.
Join our team of hosts for an hour of celebrating the unique perspectives of the trans community.
Transmission, Tuesday mornings from 9am till 10am on 4ZZZ.
Hello and welcome back to Transmission on 4ZZZ. My name's Hazel, my pronouns are she, her, and with me today also in the studio is Ray.
Hello, my name is Ray. I use they, them pronouns.
Excellent, and we have two wonderful guests in the studio with us. We have April and Connor from Trans Joy Meanjin. Would you like to introduce yourselves and your pronouns?
Hi, I'm April, she, they.
I'm Connor, he, him.
Lovely. And I have you in the studio today because I wanted to talk about community. We're talking about trans community, transgender diverse community, trying to find that community, which I think is an important and interesting thing, especially with recently we've got the social media ban coming in for under 16s. And I know for a lot of the trans community, online is kind of a big place you find it. So in lieu of that, I'd love to talk about in the real manifest world, how do we approach that? So would you mind just talking me over who you are individually and what does your organisation do?
I guess I'll start.
Yeah, sure.
I work as a psychologist, so I work in mental health, and it's like, community is so important and it's so hard to find places. But we actually met in a book club. Me and Connor,
right.
Shelf Lovers Book Club. We love Shelf Lovers. So, we're both going along to that. And then Aiden, who moved to Melbourne at the start of this year, was kind of like, I was like, well, I'll help out with Trans Joy. Looks cool. And he was like, cool, I'm moving to Melbourne in 2 weeks.
Get ready to take a bunch of work on.
Yeah, I just kind of I guess I'm doing this now. So, yeah,
absolutely.
That's how I ended up here.
Yeah, and then I have just essentially finished studying my diploma of library information services, so become a library technician. And I had just done a course in that on event management, which I loved. And I meant to go to Trans Joy stuff for ages, and I kept having stuff come up, and then April's like, I'm running it, please come. I was like, yes, okay, I will go and I'll do that. And then I think I went twice, and then I went, can I help run it, please? Please let me in.
Yes, please. Please help.
So if you see our very sparse social media, that's me.
Yeah, Connor's doing amazing.
Which I will do better next year.
I do not like social media.
Yeah, totally understandable. That's always the way with these kinds of organisations too. You recruit as you go because the people who get involved want to see it keep going.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, what is Trans Joy Meanjin? What does the bulk of the operations look like?
Pretty much just come hang out, meet other trans people, have a good time. Just a safe space for everyone to sort of. We do a craft and games day. We can bring your own crafts, bring your own games. We'll just kind of sit and hang out. Just to hang out, meet people, meet new trans people, find a sense of community.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of, I guess, neurodivergent focused in a sense. It's kind of a space where you can just come and do crafts and you can sit off to the side, don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. It's very low sensory. Yeah, because so many of the social events are in bars or places that are really loud. And
yeah, absolutely.
For me, that's so overwhelming. So
yeah, a lot of parallel play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's really lovely. Yeah, no, I find that it's good to have these sort of alternatives. That's why I wanted to talk to you two as well, because, it would be very easy to come in here and sort of list the events where trans musicians are playing and the bars that tend to be trans-friendly, but there's a much wider spectrum and also, an all-ages sort of environment to be engaging with transgender diverse community too. And I'm very glad that a group like Trans Joy Meanjin is facilitating that kind of interaction. So when we're talking about these events, and especially you're talking about how it's sort of neurodivergent focused, I'm curious, in your experience, sort of how does the trans and gender diverse community function? This might be a bit of a vague question, I'm sorry, but in what format does it exist? How are trans people finding each other and talking to each other?
Well, I first found trans people by doing an animation degree. When I started, about 3 people were trans, and by the end, I think 15 of us. So
you're
we
definitely
kind of
not
create other trans people.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard to tell me that exact story as well. Yeah. What about for you, April?
Well, I think curating community is such a complex thing. I guess years ago, actually before I transitioned, I used to work in some community spaces, and it's just so complex, I guess. It's the ways that people come together and how they feel comfortable in a space, or if they want to come back, or if they actually connect with someone there. I think with these spaces, a lot of people kind of come a few times or once and find it's not quite for them.
Yeah.
But then I think we're gradually building a bit of a core group, which is really nice.
Right.
So then a few of us, there's 8 to 10 of us that know each other now, and it makes the space a bit nicer because we all know each other, so people can kind of join in a bit more. So I think it's just kind of snowballing a bit, maybe.
Yeah, it's got a momentum to it.
Yeah, plus we're always, we do have that little core group, but we're also very welcoming to new people. We're we will come in, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
You're our child now.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an interesting point too that the arts seem to play a big role in this. For me personally, it's getting involved in music and 4ZZZ that particularly involved me most in the trans community and found a lot of friends. Natalia, who's manning the desk, is someone that she and I have met pretty much exclusively through the fact that Tranzmission exists, and we've communicated through that.
Amazing.
I mean, Ray, you've got Trans Rag, zines and stuff like that.
And Be Life and stuff. Yeah, I think like for me, finding community is, I think, because I'm very extroverted and very sure of myself and assume that everyone will love me. It's quite, it's obnoxiously easy. No. I was going to, someone will text in soon and be like, nah, mate. But I do feel like it is quite easy for me, and like I think that it can be really hard for a lot of people. Like definitely a lot of people that I've met in the trans community find it quite tricky to find their crew. Like what you both say, I guess, to someone who's struggling to find community, and how they might want to go about connecting with others, either at Trans Joy Meanjin or elsewhere.
I think the trick is just to try a lot of different spaces. Like, I think when I was trying to find community after coming out, I just kind of go to a bunch of different things and see if I felt comfortable. And for me, it was the Shelf Lovers book group, where I was like, oh, this is actually like a place I really like. So I think just trying a bunch, and if you feel like, try it a few times, maybe 2 or 3 times. But if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I think just trying is the key.
It's that willingness to give a new thing a shot.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like, I had the luxury of, when I realised I was trans and came out, I already had this community of people that I met at uni. And then I left uni and I kind of became a bit of a hermit for a while. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to meet some other queer people. And then also went to book club. They had a trans one at one point. I was like, okay, I'm going to the trans one. I'll meet trans people. And then I just kept forcing myself to go. And then I ended up, when I decided, I'll help do Trans Joy. Now I have to go and meet trans people. I have to go out because I'm running it.
So your solution is to lock yourself in.
Yeah, essentially just take on a lot of responsibility. No.
No, of course.
It's just try it out and, find, like, not to advertise ourselves, obviously, but we're, like, a very chill, like, you can come, even if you come for a little bit and you hate it, you can leave. We don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant. That also, I think, leads into something that I'm really curious about in your experiences, is obviously for a lot of trans and diverse people, there's a lot of anxiety, especially with being a public-facing person, trying to find these groups, trying to put yourself out there and be perceived, as it were. I'm wondering if you have any advice, or maybe just what you've observed when it comes to that sort of very, very intense avoidance. How do you break through that, or how do you at least accommodate it?
Yeah, I used to struggle with that a lot, where I was like, I didn't want to go out, do things, not be perceived. It's really just kind of, you got to find a headspace. Like, if you get to a point where you're like, okay, maybe I could do that, book it. And then you have to go. It's just like, sometimes it'll be like, I'll have one day where I feel really good and I have that confidence. I'm like, okay, maybe I could go to this event. And then I'll say I'm going. And then I'm like, well, now I have to go, even though I don't super feel like it on the day.
Right.
It's kind of like trick yourself a little bit.
Practicing that impulsivity.
That's the one thing that's kind of worked for me. But I don't know if that's going to be for everyone.
Yeah, it's just so hard, I think. Like that is also, the anxieties can be so intense, especially when you're like presenting differently, and going out for the first few times is a different. But I think finding spaces where are safe. Like, that's one of the things I like about Trans Joy is, like, people can kind of come and present differently with us, and it is safe, right? Like, we're a trans space. It's not so. Whereas if you go somewhere that isn't trans, you might feel a bit more anxious.
Yeah.
So just going to trans and queer spaces where that you will be received well. It's still scary. Like,
absolutely. So just like being familiar with what spaces are going to welcome you, what spaces are...
Absolutely.
And I mean, this is why a hot take, I love when brands have a little gay sticker on the front door.
Absolutely.
I know some people have a take about the sort of, corporate pride, and there's much to be criticised there, but I think there's something very powerful when a space or an organisation is willing to say outright, no, you will be allowed to be in here. We're not going to be, because sometimes you'll see even queer groups, and a little part of your head goes like, but will I be part of that idea of queerness?
For sure.
Yeah, that's one thing I do with my part. I promise you are queer enough. Like, even if you're like thinking like, maybe I am, it's okay, you can come. We love you anyway. Even if you turn out to be like cis or straight or whatever, like, if you're cool, come hang out, we love you.
And I think I recall seeing on the event pages for Trans Joy events, it's also for the family and the supporters. It's anyone who's going to be welcoming and supporting in that space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, I bring my cis girlfriend, she can come.
That's really great. I really appreciate your input on that.
Voting for the 2025 Hot 100 is now open. Who will make the top 100 tracks? It's your call.
Only one vote per person is allowed, but subscribers' votes are worth double. So if you want to really back your favourite artists, be sure to subscribe to 4ZZZ first.
To vote, jump online and head to hot100.4zzz.org.au. Voting closes midnight on the 30th of November.
That's hot100.4zzz.org.au.
Vote now!
Hello, friends. My name is Ray. I use they, them pronouns, and you are listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ.
Yeah, I'm Hazel, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm also here on 4ZZZ, believe it or not. And I wanted to quickly say, by the way, that Hot 100 is the season right now. You can get voting straight away. Hot 100, by the way, is the best Hot 100 in Australia. Don't listen to what they tell you. The 4ZZZ one is the one to go for. You can vote for, I think, anything released within this calendar year, I believe is the system. And there's just an onslaught of amazing tracks. I don't know if I should say who I would vote for, but remember that you can only submit your vote once, but subscribers have double weighting to their votes. So if you want to subscribe to 4ZZZ, it's 4ZZZ.org.au/support. We have all kinds of prices, passionate, full sub. You can also get concession prices for $40 or under 18s and pets for $25. I know my cat is a very happy subscriber. She's not trans, but she's an ally, and you can do that too.
Please subscribe to your trans ally cats, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Or trans cats. I'm sure they exist. No, there is that one, right? There was like a cat that was like literally non-binary.
Amazing. Go off.
I don't have enough detail for this, but it's a thing. Look it up. It's real, I promise. Anyway, who is still in the studio with us today? It's no one else but Connor and April of Trans Joy Meanjin. Say hi.
Hi, April. She, they.
Hi, Connor, he, him.
Hello, and we are continuing our discussion about trans and gender diverse community and how to find it. So, I wanted to sort of broaden it as well. Obviously, we've focused a lot on sort of our peer group, the young adults, and we've talked about sort of younger people too, especially with the social media ban coming up. Coming up still, sorry. I'm a little frazzled, my apologies. But I wanted to sort of expand out, and I'm curious, if I can just ask you for advice, for every trans and gender diverse person, young or old, when it comes to community. What's something that they really should hear if they haven't heard anything else?
There's people out there who will love and accept you, who want you to be around them, who want you to come hang out. There's people there for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's never quite as scary as it seems. Most spaces are really nice. People are nice. There's some bad times, but most of the time you go somewhere and it's actually just chill.
If people are mean, get out of there. Run.
Exactly, yeah.
Not worth it.
I think that's a good thing to mention as well, is that community spaces are still, at the end of the day, spaces of community. And community is never a one-note thing. You'll encounter people that you don't like, and you'll encounter people that don't like you. That's absolutely a reasonable possibility. But I think it's fair to say that when you go to these spaces that have been curated and designed for you to interact with others as a trans and gender diverse person, that will be at most a social faux pas and not necessarily something dangerous or scary.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really sweet that's offered. Do we want to talk a little bit about where these kinds of spaces are then? I mean, obviously, let's talk firstly and foremost about Trans Joy Meanjin. What are some of the events you do? Are there any upcoming?
So we've actually just had our last craft games afternoon for the year, and on Sunday. We did that at New Farm Library in their meeting room on the fourth Sunday of the month, where waiting to hear back about booking the space next year, but we will be back next year. I'm not letting this go.
Excellent.
We'll be great.
And then...
But we're also at Meeple and Mug, which is a board game cafe in West End, which is a lovely space. Lots of queer people work there. It's really safe.
Yeah, I've heard really nice things about that place too.
So we're there on the second Friday of every month.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you've got these sort of continuing events that occur sort of on repeat throughout the year.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so people can find information about that at Trans Joy Meanjin on Facebook and other places like that too.
Facebook, Instagram. And we're thinking about a book club.
Yeah, I've been researching book club stuff, yes.
Go on. Very nice.
And my absolute dream is just one day I'm like, someone bankrolls me, I will make a trans library. I want to make one so bad. Just all the trans books. I'll be the librarian. I'm not qualified for that yet, but I will do it.
I have thoughts and feelings about this, and I approve. Honestly, there's one in Helsinki, I think, and there's a bunch of beautiful trans libraries, and I'm like, well, why don't we? We don't have one here because we're spending a lot of time surviving and fighting for our rights and not having money, but look, if I get a whole bunch of money, let's make I was like, give it to you, make a library. let's have book.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, arts is just such a big thing for the queer community writ large, but also for the trans and gender diverse community. Like, it's these spaces that we're definitely often finding each other in. But I think it's also important to hold that, like, if you're not artistically inclined, these are still comfortable spaces for you.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not to lean on stereotypes, but all my trans femme coders in there who don't feel that they're artistic types, I promise you'll find these environments welcoming and warm.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and even the crafts afternoon, like, people just do puzzles.
Yeah, we've got craft and we've got games. You can bring board games. I've thought about bringing my Switch and playing Jackbox games one day.
Exactly.
There's a
Such a
projector.
good idea. It's been so long since I've played Jackbox as well.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like that was my whole lockdown, was playing those on Discord.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've also got Mario Kart, Boomerang Fu. We've got some multiplayer games.
Yeah, excellent. That's great. When we talk about these sort of spaces too, I feel like I would be missing something obvious if I didn't bring up, you're listening to 4ZZZ currently, and 4ZZZ is absolutely one of those spaces that it's high density in queer folks, and it's even higher density in queer friendly folks. It's a place that's very, very welcoming, whether or not you want to volunteer, or if you just want to go to any event that's hosted by 4ZZZ, I promise you that is an event that is queer friendly. That's 4ZZZ. And it's, in my personal cases, 4ZZZ is easily the biggest factor in me finding others like myself. And being involved with Tranzmission was how I found a lot of other people like myself. I don't know how it goes for you, Ray.
Yeah, interestingly, I think I started on Megahertz. This was X number of years ago in the mid-2010s, I think, or early 2010s, and it was one of those things where I was like, I am a staunch feminist. Oh my God, I'm also trans. Great. And it definitely was a tipping point of I discovered a lot about myself, and kept doing Megahertz for a while, and then definitely as soon as I heard about Tranzmission coming on board on 4ZZZ, I was like, this is incredible, and I think it's so important to have a show like this, because I know that there's a lot of people who, even when I'm at social gatherings or whatever, they'll be talking about what they listen to, and they'll be like, oh, I listen to Tranzmission, and it becomes a nice topic of conversation that they can have. It's just it's beautiful. We love 4ZZZ.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say one other thing of I feel like the main thing with finding communities is just follow your interest.
Yeah.
For the music with me and books, I just love trans books, right? I can talk about them for hours. So it's just finding spaces where it's something you're so into that you can it's fairly easy to interact and be interested in it.
And you know what?
Particularly we're all neurodivergent, right? So we all have special interests.
I'm going to say, if you want a specific chill space, tell us and I will go feral researching it. And I'll see if I can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that also about this community is it's a very flexible and accommodating community. When Trans Joy Meanjin's a perfect example, also 4ZZZ, also a number of other groups throughout Brisbane and Meanjin is just the people want you there. People really, really want to connect with you. And I'm definitely speaking to you, any listeners who are not out and about, who are not involving themselves in public at the moment as a trans individual. We really want to know you. We really want to spend time with you. We get texts in often on Tranzmission from people who haven't connected with others and enjoy being able to hear about the community through the radio. Whenever I see a text from someone like that, I want to know who you are. Not to sound creepy about it.
In a loving way.
Yeah, the space is waiting for you. It's right here.
Yeah, you listening, I want to be your friend. Please come.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might just also shout out a couple of, queer and trans-friendly things that are around in Brisbane. For those who haven't heard of Gayskate is amazing, particularly if you're athletically inclined, you like skating rinks. It's all ages, LGBTQIA+ and allies skate group, and it's running as a private skating rink session, but also does many community meetups and events. It's all ages, substance-free, and it's an inclusive and safe space.
And as a book enthusiast, there's a lot of amazing book-tastic events that are queer in Meanjin. So we've got Queer Readers, which is a monthly themed and queer-focused book club, and that one's at New Farm Library, third Monday of every month. There's also the one at the first Wednesday of every month, the Queer Lit Book Club at Avid Reader. And I think that there's also, I do know that Shelf Lovers used to run book clubs, but I know that they have plans in the works to, like, they often will have events running still, even though they don't have a shop front currently.
Yeah, there was one last night, which was nice.
Yeah, they're doing them.
I think they're trying to do the monthly book club.
Yeah,
again,
sort of at
but-
the end of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's where we met. So
That's really nice. I mean, also, if you're film inclined, New Farm Library also does queer film screenings. I know the next one of those is Thursday the 15th of January. It's Dallas Buyers Club. And I think also, you know, like we said, we're looking at these spaces that are all ages, that are inclusive. But I think it's fair to point out also a lot of queer life happens at nightlife as well. And to just quickly list off a couple of venues, you know, Netherworld and Banshees Bar and Art Space, those spaces are places to look into if you really want to find that community.
And also places like the Cave In and Echo and Bounce have a lot of really cool trans-focused events. So
Yeah. I guess the thing to really do is just keep your ear to the ground. There's always things going on. I mean, obviously, if you happen to already be listening to Tranzmission, you will hear about plenty of gay and queer and trans events happening all over Brisbane Meanjin. But, you know, keep tuned in on Facebook, keep tuned in into all of these other sources. These things are dynamic. I mean, we just found out that Shelf Lovers is operating outside of what Ray and I was aware of. So, you know, these things are always going on.
And I think also, like, I know that we're running out of time rapidly, but if you can't find the space that you want or need, you know, and you have the capacity, or you and your mates or someone else that, you know, have capacity, create one yourself. Like, I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that I know who are like, oh, look, I want to go to this book club, but I can't do this night. Or, you know, there's certain, like, places that they can't go. They, like, live in a certain area, and they're not able to transport to that area. Like, yeah, definitely, like, create your own groups if you have capacity. And, you know, that sounds, you know, probably easier than it actually is, but it's also incredibly rewarding, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
you can always book a library meeting room.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yes.
So easy.
Free for community groups. Just do it.
I love that. Well, I suppose we're coming down to the wrap up now, and I just wanted to hear from the both of you. There's just, you know, something you want to end on, something you just think every person who might find themselves inclined to enjoy Trans Joy Meanjin's offerings, you know, what do they need to hear?
Just come along. Just do it. I promise we're safe. We're cool. We'll love you. Just do it.
Yeah, just give it a try. It's okay if you stay for 10 minutes and leave. Like, yeah, just get a vibe. Check.
I'll only cry a little bit.
I love that.
Be trans, do crafts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or games, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Or just come hang out. You don't even have to do either. You can just sit there and stare at us.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Some people
Yeah.
just do some work on their laptop. Like,
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, sitting here and staring is what I've done for most of this interview. So I really have to vouch for that as a method of connecting with trans people.
We're great to stare at.
Well, thank you very, very much, Connor and April of Trans Joy Meanjin, for joining us here today. And thank you also, Ray, for co-hosting with me.
Thank you. This was lovely.
And also thank you to Natalia for helping on the desk.
It was my pleasure. I think for me personally, Tranzmission was my gateway into the trans community, and so it is such an honour and full moment circle to be here on this episode specifically.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Thanks so much for having us. It's been so nice.
Oh, it's been our absolute pleasure. Well, that's that, folks. You're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. Enjoy your morning.
Thank you so much for listening to Tranzmission. See you next Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.